Okay, guys, so in compliments to the last video about the communication process, I'm going to actually go into a little bit more detail about the communication process model and the communication process model and what you will be able to see and kind of figure out like on the communication process model as it pertains to oral communication. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen really quick and we're going to be going over that really quickly. All right, so as you can see here, what we went over, remember we're going to, instead of using receive or sender, we're going to be using speaker. And instead of using receiver, we're going to be using listener, okay? And so in this communication process model, it's actually quite extensive. This is just kind of an overview for you guys, but I'm going to just talk about like how this model actually impacts the way that we encode and decode messages. Okay, and so encoding right here, that is done from from the speaker. Remember, we're using speaker instead of sender. What an encoding is being able to have the message that you want to translate in your head, right? So like if I want to say to anyone that like, oh, your shirt is blue, in my mind, I need to be able to create a sentence or create a message that's going to make sense. And so what I do is that I encode that message and I encode it using language, right? And communication, as I had discussed before, that communication's definition is applying meaning to symbols and other forms of representation to be able to give a message across. And so encoding is essentially that, is that we are giving meaning to the language or to the sounds that we're using for language to be able to communicate our message here by using the medium. The medium would be my voice or my mouth to be able to communicate that to you as the listener. And as the listener, you have a process of decoding. And what that means is that you hear the message that I had said in like, oh, her shirt is blue. You get that message and then you decode it. Essentially what you're doing is that you're taking those sounds and all of those sounds and what we perceive to be as language, and you're deconstructing it in your mind very quickly, and you're saying like, oh yeah, her shirt is blue. And so that's the process of decoding. And so for you as the response or as the listener, you're able to now be the speaker and then give a response and some feedback to me, who is now going to be the listener. So you as the speaker here will now be telling me, the listener, your response to what I had just said in my message. Okay, so essentially that's how we always do it. And the process of the process of communication, it does change from platform to platform. Even in using this like this video recording as a way of me speaking to you guys and relaying those messages. Um, the message using the medium, and the medium, this being the video, as a way for you guys to hear and listen what I'm trying to teach you, right? And so we can think of this in multiple ways, especially in social media, right? That's actually called a what is it called? Uh, Anyways, it's not that important. But we're using the medium of social media to be able to relay that message, right? To send a message either on a comment or using a TikTok video or using Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. We're posting photos and these messages that we want people to read and see, that we put in the captions or on our hashtags, or being able to write something in the comments. So that's a form of sending a message. We're using the symbolism of words to be able to relay a message to the receiver. And even though we're not doing it in an oral sense, we're actually doing it using that platform to be our medium. And that comes into play here, remember? So the media is plural for medium, and the medium is essentially whatever we use to be able to translate that message. And noise can generally happen within that time, specifically within oral communication. However, when we use platforms such as social media, we don't really have too much noise. Like the noise could be like a misinterpretation, it could be internal or external, it could be a number of things. But this is essentially the breakdown and the essentials of what the communication process model is. And so at the end of this video, I'm just going to ask you guys just one open-ended question, and I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm actually asking. I'm going to be asking you guys, give me 2 of your primary examples of how you use the communication process model in your day-to-day life. And I don't want one word question or one word answers. I want to say like, I want you guys to tell me like, well, I use TikTok to be able to record videos of things that I think are funny. And I send my message in the caption, or I just watch TikTok videos and I like to write comments and say like that, or like the video and send them a message of like a good feeling or something like that. So I want you guys to kind of like look at that and kind of reflect on your own life and see how like you're able to actually use these step-by-steps of like speaker, encoding, message, medium, decoding, listener, and then feedback along with noise, and see how that actually pertains into your own life and the way that you can now notice this communication process model within the day-to-day activities that you guys do. All right, so that's going to be the only question for this video, guys. Wait for the next one. I'm not going to do any more tonight because I am tired. And yeah, so I will see you guys on the next video.